is for training purposes and TV news education. Some copyrighted material is used and is credited on screen. However, no more was taken than was necessary to tell the story of the event. YBA claims fair use of material.
All right, guys, so we got the Olympics here. Obviously, big day for the U.S. with a win in basketball and yesterday with a win in soccer. So talking about the basketball team specifically, you see all of the other teams in the league with all of the other teams in the tournament with very lackluster teams comparatively, other than maybe Spain. Do you see anyone really giving the U.S. a challenge in this tournament?
Well, Spain is going to, and they look great today against China, who is a little less than they've been in recent years, of course, without Yao Ming. I think Argentina, with Manu Ginobili, led by Manu Ginobili, they have a couple NBA guys on their roster. They could possibly come out and surprise the U.S. And I think Brazil is a team. I'm not saying they're going to give the U.S. a run for their money, but in terms of Spain saying they're locked for that silver medal, Brazil, they have some NBA players, too, on their roster.
Yeah,
Nene. They have Nene, mostly big men, but they're a team, too, and I know Doc Rivers was saying this earlier on NBC. They're a team he'll be watching, and they're also a team I'll be watching. They could be very interesting.
Yeah, though there are a lot of teams where you take out a few players, done, shut out. You know, a team like France, Tony Parker, he supplied so many points that when you take him out, they're no longer a contending team. And also, Argentina, no Delfino, no Ginobili, no medal contention.
Right, but they do have those guys, so they will. And you mentioned Tony Parker in the French team. I think French team was a lot like the Celtics, and they needed Michael Pietrus to score a couple more points to beat LeBron. Bradley, your thoughts?
I think it's gonna be close with some games. Definitely Spain, definitely Brazil, but it's still. They're not the dream team like the '92, but there is definitely going to be close games out there, yes.
Now, earlier today I was listening to Doc Rivers on NBC, and he brought up a very interesting point. Who do you give the ball to in a last-second situation with so many stars on the team?
Kobe.
Yeah, Kobe.
No question.
Kobe, but with all the other scorers on the team that are going to want the ball, how's the rest of the team going to feel? How are you going to deal with all the internal issues?
You know what? To be honest, if the U.S. is down to a last-shot situation, they're going to lose the game. They're not ready for that mentally. They're going to be in such a relaxed state of mind, being blowing teams out in all these other games.
Yeah.
If they are in that situation, honestly, whoever takes the last shot is the least of their problems. They're in a last shot situation. Those guys are going to have no clue what's going on. They're not going to be in the mindset to take the last shot. I think that if they get to that situation, Davis is the 12th man on the team. I think if you get to that situation, you give it to
alley-oop to Davis.
Possibly. I think if you get in that situation, Kobe is the guy on that team in the NBA, I think, is the best for a last-second shot. But even Kobe at that point, I think they're going to be rattled if they find themselves in that situation.
So from one dominant team to another, we move on to soccer here. As the U.S. has been obviously a very dominant team in the past decade or so of soccer. How do you see them doing this year in the Olympics?
The women's team, I see doing very well. I think they're motivated after that loss to the World Cup. After that loss in the World Cup, I think they're just more experienced now. They have most of the roster back. Players like Abby Wambach, Hope Solo, Alex Morgan. I think if Hope Solo doesn't become too much of a distraction with the whole thing on Twitter today, tweeting at the announcer that she didn't like the way she was calling it. You know what? She has every right to do that. I think that's fine, but save it till after the Olympics. Instead of saying, I don't like the way you are calling our games, I didn't like the way you were. It needs to be past tense. It needs to be dealt with after. But if that's the only hiccup they're going to face in the road, this U.S. team can go very far.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Hope Solo is a great goalkeeper. And Abby Wambach, header.
Abby Wambach, I think
she's great.
Abby Wambach is better than most of the men on the American team. I think.
Honestly,
she's one of the best soccer players in the world.
Alex Morgan is the new Mia Hamm. She has been terrific.
Now, I don't know if you can say that yet.
Against France, and I also think a person like Amy Rodriguez as a backup. Amy Rodriguez is a great player in being a backup. And also Carly Lloyd, also a backup. They're two great players. They're also like Megan Rapinoe. She's a great passer, also a great shooter. I definitely think U.S. definitely contention.
George, I don't know if you can put Alex Morgan on the level of Mia Hamm yet.
I think Abby Wambach.
Yeah, Abby Wambach, considering she's 18 goals away from tying to be the leading goal scorer in U.S. women's history.
She's only 22. The ceiling is just so high for Alex Morgan.
All right.
Definitely for U.S., the women over men, And if Hope Solo can keep it under control, I think that they're going to go far.
And I mean, who do they really have to challenge them? There are not that many outstanding women's teams. Japan.
Brazil.
But Brazil looks good. But
Yeah,
they looked
Marta.
outstanding in their first game. Who did they play in their first game?
France.
Again? They looked outstanding against France,
And
who's normally a good
she
soccer
tipped
country.
both of those goals. She almost saved them. Morgan, 2 goals. You had Womack getting the header. Rapinoe was doing a great job getting in on the passing. Lloyd, she just struck
I see
that
you've taken
right
my
into
advice
the
in learning other
corner.
sports besides baseball.
Yes.
Yeah, George becoming quite the soccer aficionado here.
And arena football. He's throwing those names out like crazy.
Yeah, watch that game. Gotta watch that game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so also another big sport for the U.S., obviously being the beach volleyball. Both great teams on both the men's and women's side. Is there any team that can hold a candle to the
Australia.
Misty May trainer and Kerry Walsh team?
No.
Australia.
No,
They
you know what?
almost beat
They have
US.
never lost a set, and this is their
Australia's
third
been the
Olympics
closest.
together. This is their third Olympics together. Misty May Trainer was going to retire, and normally when you retire, you're done. She was able to come back for Kerry Walsh. Shows you the kind of chemistry they have. That on the last night against Australia, yes, Australia was close, but they didn't beat them. It shows you the kind of chemistry they have. It shows you their desire to win. And hey, you know what? That interview last night, I don't know if you watched their interview after the match.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kerry
watched
Walsh
it.
said fun at least 20 times, and that's the key word. They're out there having fun. They're relaxed. They're enjoying it. They really don't have anything to lose. They're already considered the best beach volleyball team in the history of the Olympics. They're just adding to it at this point. So they're just out there having fun. They have good chemistry, and I think that they are destined for their third gold. Australia, though, I think
Yes.
the
They're
way
the
they
only
played last
contenders.
night, they're the one. They're going to be up for the silver. Bradley.
There's no pressure for them. I mean, you said they've been there together forever, and yes, they're having fun, and there's a chemistry. They build up so much chemistry over the years. It's fine. They got it.
Obviously, they're the heavy favorites this year. And I don't see anyone really
swimming.
dethroning them from their throne. So moving on to swimming, obviously, as George just said there,
I love
Ryan
talking about
Lochte
swimming.
and Michael Phelps is going to be one of the biggest stories in this Olympics.
What about Matt Grievers?
He's
If you
not-
just saw him in the relay,
He
that
looked-
kid had wheels.
He looked good, but he's not. Hey,
He was
You have to remember
fast.
that was their second relay team. The U.S. did not put their first relay team out there
Yeah.
for the trial because they want to save their legs. And I got a quote from Michael Phelps. It's a very famous quote. A lot of athletes like take it to heart. It's hard to get on top. It's harder to stay there.
Yeah.
And you know what, Phelps? He stopped caring, I think, after Beijing. He said he didn't want to get in the pool. Lochte's the only reason he motivated, and it showed yesterday. He almost did not make the finals.
Yeah.
You know, you know what?
Barely.
He was good. It was nice to have him as kind of the poster boy for U.S. Olympic sports, but move over because Ryan Lochte wants it. Ryan Lochte's worked for it. Ryan Lochte's going to get it.
He's getting the commercials now.
Right, he's
Yeah.
in
He's
the
getting the
commercials.
commercials.
Phelps, I think he would have been better off just being done after Beijing. He would have
Yeah.
ended on that high note unless he comes back with that same dedication he showed in China, which he hasn't. I think he has no business being here. He's taking the attention away from an outstanding American swimming team, both men and women. You have people like Ryan Lochte, Rebecca Soni,
Missy Franklin.
and they have two
Chloe
17-year-olds. Two
Elizabeth
17-year-olds.
Beisel. Elizabeth
Yeah.
Beisel also.
On the U.S. women's relay team. Two 17-year-olds just shows the youth movement coming through in U.S. swimming.
Yeah, there's
And you didn't
definitely
even mention
from
Elizabeth
yesterday.
Beisel, who's great. She almost had the American record in
Right.
her event.
Yeah, she's,
And the only reason why she
dominant.
didn't win is because the person who got first broke the world record. So
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to win.
Definitely yesterday is a big example that everyone should follow. Hard work will get you anywhere.
You can just keep your hand there if you want. I mean, it's kind of.
Yeah.
All right. So
But you know, one more thing on the swimming, I am looking forward to seeing Lochte and Phelps in the pool together because they have showed us at times a very buddy-buddy relationship. But I think they've also shown us at times that they don't like each other. And I'm curious in the relay working together how that's going to look. And they're not swimming back-to-back, too, which I think is interesting. And I think that says something towards
Nathan
what their
Adrian in
character
between them.
is. Right. I think that shows something what their character is off out of the pool. You may not want your two strong swimmers next to each other, but they may not want one trying to one-up the other and hurting himself.
you can tell Phelps is pretty much there for the sponsorship money.
Right. Oh,
And
yeah.
also-
No, he doesn't. And you can tell he's after the first race when he after the first qualifying race, he said it looked terrible, but he didn't show anything to try to fix it in the final. It didn't look like he was going all out. I think he just You know, he's like, this is what it is. I don't care. I'm here for the money. I'm going to do my best to maybe pick up a medal. If I'm him, I want to become the most decorated of all time.
The trainers practically forced him to come back.
Right.
Come on, this is it. You have to come.
And one more thing on swimming, John Lezak in maybe his final relay.
Oh, true. Yeah, I saw that this morning.
That was
very
just
impressive
a great
from him.
moment. It was great to watch. He got his team second. It was a really fun thing to see. Such a great moment. And he goes out there, maybe his last race.
To close off the Olympic talk, I don't know if you guys saw the Call Me Maybe video, the swim team in, but hey, Missy Franklin, I'll get you my number. Call me maybe. That's going to do it for us. Back to you guys.